Hi, welcome to If I Did It, a show where we analyze and solve empirical kerfuffles and we will not beyond. Or should I be doing this? Imagine a dolly being thrown. I'm your host, Lexi Old, author of Seven Secret Sources of Inspiration, a snappy guide for creative procrastinators. Joining me always is Kid Named Bloody Elbow and of the Let It Roll podcast, and Eugene S. Robinson from Ozzy.com and author of Fight. Everything you ever want to know about ass kicking, but afraid you get your ass kicked for asking. Collectively, MMA Pancholes. Now, what the hardest thing, I don't think if you guys know this or not, viewers and listeners, it's really hard coming up.
President. What?
Well, it's really hard coming up with topics, just it's hard trying to figure out what to talk about. Things are slow.
I don't know, man. Fred Eddish. Maybe you could bring back whatever happened to Fred Eddish.
Yeah, so, but anyway, Eugene!
Sir!
You're the UFC!
Uh-huh.
Conor McGregor took over your media day in Brooklyn and spat in your face, live and in public, if you will, storming into your press conference, tossing chairs at a dolly at a UFC bus, and injuring fighters Michael Chiesa and Ray Borg. We know you need more than he needs you. So what you gonna do after McNuggets Mania ran wild on you?
Well, I'm undecided. We're all victims of this Facebook reality where this outrage generator, where outrage, indignation, and we're like, I remember being in Naples and I remember describing this like running from one street fight to the next. And so I'm not going to be so easily moved. It's not outside the realm of possibility. For example, if you or I go to the UFC, we have to have tickets, right? Well, even if you're a fighter, so they don't give your seat away to a prick like Anthony Kiedis, I'm guessing you have to announce that you're going to be there. You have to say, I'm going to be there. It's not outside the realm of possibility that it could have been something pro wrestling style cooked up. I'm undecided. I don't really think this. I'm leaning toward not thinking this, but it's not entirely clear to me that the UFC, the Baldwin, wouldn't have said, hey, McNuggets, let's sit down. Let's talk about this a bit. Why don't we create some hype? You're going to fight before the end of 2018. You're going to fight with some of these guys here. Let's just stir things up a bit. You just go out there and light it up, Now, because there was the announcement that there was a warrant out for the arrest, and of course, there was no warrant out for the arrest. If a friend of mine was having problems with something, I would not come out and say that there was a warrant for his arrest. If there wasn't a warrant for his arrest, that was said. If I am the UFC, per the premise at this point now, I'm going to say there's no such thing as bad publicity. However, you are going to have to sanction a guy who wasn't really going to fight in 2018 anyway, in a very serious way. You can't you can't punish Jon Jones for running into the pregnant woman and putting her in the hospital and then have two fighters on the card fucked up, possibly a third fucked up as a result of being cut with glass. I thought at first he had thrown a folding chair. I was like, oh, man up, tough it out. And then I see it was a dolly. I don't know. I used to be a professional furniture mover. These things are fucking heavy. They've got edges. And, I don't really know what you do to sanction a guy, but I do know this. And it cuts at the root of your premise. I do know that at this point, I think I can healthily say that we do not need him more than he needs us. He may not need us, but I think it's patently true at this point, after 2 years of inactivity, we don't really need him either. Kid Nate and I did the Care Don't Care preview on the show. There was only like one. I think I cared about all of the fights, and Nate only didn't care about two of the fights.
No, you cared about all of the fight, all but one of the fights on the pay-per-view, and you cared for most of the fights on the prelims. You did not care for all the fights.
Well, hold on. I'll take out my little tote sheet, which I have here in my pocket. So, in any case, if I am the UFC and the bald one at this point, I'm looking to. I don't feel real outrage. I'm looking to play this for advantage, and the advantage in my mind you know, if I put McNuggets on ice, and then what does that do to the storyline? Are you more interested in 6 months or 7 months? If I don't punish him, what does that look like in terms of the folks at Jon Jones going, oh, it seems like F.R. Leavis's book, Two Cultures, that we have two things happening here. One guy gets to do anything he wants, and everybody else gets punished severely. Something's got to happen. And I don't know entirely what. And I tell you, it's sort of fucked up this card, you know. And so right now, when a guy has $135 million, like Eddie Murphy once famously said, a fight breaks out in the club, everybody sues me. You can see it right now with a dude. Somebody just sent me a tweet of somebody's tweet who was on the bus. And they're like, Reed Harris. Sorry, I think my hand is broken. If I'm on that fucking bus and I'm a fighter, I'm getting a case of hysterical blindness. My confidence is not what it used to be. I was terrified. I'm a nervous wreck. I think I need at least $300,000 to make me up for pain and suffering, damages. When you have $135 million, the only reason why you keep that shit in pocket is because people will fucking sue you, and that's where you're gonna be. And if I'm the Baldwin of the UFC, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for guys like that. I really don't. I need guys who are gonna show up and fight the fucking fights. You know.
What about you, Nate?
Well, I think there was an element of kayfabe here in that we don't know how he got in the building. We don't know how he got in the garage. And I'm told, and it looked this way to me, that there's footage of a UFC PR person on the elevator with McGregor and his entourage before the attack. So they might have been playing with fire here and thinking, oh boy, we'll stir some shit. There'll be some talking, some chest thumping, maybe some pushing and shoving.
And plastic water bottle throwing.
Yeah, but McGregor, I think Eugene's been right about diagnosing McGregor as, what do you call him, Event Horizon, with the mask, life-size giant mask, bigger than of his face, dancing around.
Cocaine. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. And, cocaine.
I think dude has way lost the plot. And the shit he pulled today, I mean, picking up a dolly like that and throwing it through a window of a bus, you don't know who's on the other side of it. You don't know where the glass is going to go. And you fuck some people up. I mean, for Ray Borg and Michael Chiesa, this is a big deal. And Rose Namajunas was also there and freaked out. And, you know, people are trying to do their weight cuts. People are trying to get into the mental frame for the fight. And Ray Borg's got glass in his eye and can't fight. Michael Chiesa's got a big laceration on his face and can't fight. If that's not a lawsuit, I don't know what is. I mean, that is, you know.
We're talking several lawsuits.
Yes, multiple lawsuits. And we're talking criminal charges because this was mayhem. I mean, there's, you know.
No, the technical charge of mayhem is when you bite off a body part.
All right, fair enough. This was definitely disturbing the peace. All kinds of shit. Any prosecutor with any creativity can find some felony charges in there. So the level of stupidity is immense already. And then you add in the factor of, who are these people fucking with? I mean, McGregor and his team, I'm sure they're very tough guys. But Khabib and his team are the fucking scariest people on earth. I mean, other than the CIA. But I mean, these guys are serious. And you know, our reporter Kareem Sedan was showing me some text messages and Instagram shit that was going up on the Russian language stuff on the side of social media today. And I mean, there were calls for people to assemble at the Brooklyn Bridge and things like that. These are some scary people that are connected to even scarier people who are connected to some of the scariest people on earth. So I don't think McGregor has any idea what he's doing at this point. He's fucking up, and he's fucking with the wrong people. And if you're the UFC, you've reached the point at which you don't need him more than he needs you. At this point, he's suddenly moved into the red column of liability. Yep. I mean, Cat had a lot of rope. He had all the leash he wanted, and they were just feeding it out because they made a ton of money on the Mayweather fight.
They're doing that Netflix movie on him. He's got a Netflix movie and the Burger King commercials. Like, come on.
Yeah, and I mean, with Mayweather talking about doing MMA, there's a possibility of a sequel. I mean, there were so many options for them to make money with this guy that they could afford to let him sit out a year. They could afford to put up with all kinds of nonsense. But at this point, no. You get fighters doing shit like this and you don't sanction them, you're not going to be able to get insurance. You're not going to have TV partners. You're definitely not going to have corporate sponsors. I mean, corporate America is really skittish, and they do not like unpredictable violence. But the whole point of the UFC is to contain the violence, not to have it shattering glass all over the parking.
But they're not going to let him go, though.
They're not going to let him go. I mean, I think that they'll let the police and they'll let the New York State Athletic Commission handle this. And then they might also fine him and sanction him, but mark my words, they're not going to suspend him for any longer than the Athletic Commission does. I just have a feeling about that.
You're also talking about a guy now who's fucked into civil court for however, Alexa, you'd be a better judge of how long that's going to take, unless he's right now.
But that doesn't have to be sorted out before he fights.
No, of course not. But it takes away his concentration, and I don't know. And also, look, the strange thing is, the shocking thing is, this is like the if thing. Had he been 6 inches lower with the dolly, it would have been, ooh, look what we've done. Oh, it got heat is created. It was an unintended consequence of the kayfabe that it was 6 inches higher, broke the glass, almost put a guy's eye out, cracked the other guy in the head, freaked out Rose. I mean, and as well as, is he ginning up the fight with Khabib? Well, I guess you've done that, if you make it there. Because as far as I know, he's pissed off cats that you don't want to piss off in Ireland as well. So, like we've talked about Hitler before, how many fronts? How many fronts can you take? Well, let me tell you, it's better to have friends than it is to have enemies. That's all I know.
Maybe he's in a competition against Colby Crappington, like, hey, you think you're in danger in Brazil.
Yeah. And let's look at it this way too. This guy's a friend. This is a friend. Lobov has no fight. Lobov has no check for fighting. Are they going to go back to Straight Blast Jim and he's going to say, man, I'm so sorry about what happened. Here's a nice big check. He's going to do that? Probably not, Tiger Woods is not tipping his winning $80,000 and not tipping his dealer. Why would he give him money?
How much money was he going to make on the fight anyway?
Lobov? Yeah, probably $8,000.
$10,000. I mean, like the fuck.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah. The fact that the guy
fuck the fight. Take a line.
Yeah, right.
Just $10,000 right there.
Yeah. That's right.
And it really is like some fucking baking soda and shit. Like he's lying. Like I got you something right here.
Yeah.
Tide Pod just sprinkled out.
Yeah, he's not giving it. He's not giving the good stuff. So at this point in time, has he been secured by the police? Do we know or do we not know?
I believe they're seeking him. I do not believe they have found him.
He's on the loose.
But they have.
It's like the Warriors. You need to make it.
They do want him for questioning.
The reverse of the Warriors.
Yeah.
Well, they have. I thought I heard that they've notified immigration, so that if his desire is to try to get on a plane back to fucking Ireland, that may not be happening at this point. Now he's high enough profile where unless he shaves, he's not getting on that airplane.
And did he talk shit about Trump too?
Did he?
I think he did, didn't he? I don't think he's gonna have a friend there.
Yeah, I
don't think ICE is gonna like this particularly. I mean, this isn't the flavor of immigrants that ICE and Trump really feast on, but they've got so much power and latitude. If somebody gets a hard on for McGregor at ICE, and especially if he gets a felony conviction out of this, he might not be able to fight in America again. I mean,
when we tried to bring Marion Faithfull over to sing on the Oxbows record "Serenade in Red," She still, from the heroin bust years ago, still couldn't get in. We said, well, fuck it. She tried to come in through JFK, got sent back. We go, screw that. We'll get you a ticket. You come through Canada. Tried to get through Canada, couldn't get here. We ultimately ended up flying to Dublin to record it because she couldn't get into America. In other words, if she's got a big show, then she's got a bunch of proof that she's got a show. But just coming to a recording studio to record with a band that nobody's heard of, they would fuck you, go home. Go. We don't care. It used to go out with Mick Jagger. Go home. Get the fuck out of here. And that's happened several times. So, I mean, at this point now, I don't know if you guys know the words to Mac the Knife. You know.
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's a scene where the guy gets his paycheck, you know, and then he disappears. And they said the line is, has the boy done something rash? In this instance, I think it's safe to say the boy has done something rash. Once you made $135 million and were taking pictures of yourself standing on top of Rolls Royces, you had to know the Sharpies in the crowd were like, got to get a piece of that. Can't let that guy get out of here. Yeah, can't. I mean, you got to know that every single person, like, the Baldwin was talking about, the slime, the parasites that come out of the woodwork when you get a little money, a little notoriety. But he's talking about the ineffective slime. The effective slime is every single lawyer right now who's consulting with Reed Harris, Ray Borg, fucking other dude. Yeah, Alexi's down there. That's where Alexi was earlier. He was at Barclays. Here's my card. Here's my card. Here's my card. Here's my card. Let's talk. You know, those are the people that are going to fucking fleece him. And it's not like you can't show up in an American courtroom, a New York City courtroom, and fly with a lot of that stuff and, like, you know, the hippie lip and like, oh, man, he's going to say something funny. He's going to get off. Nah, it's not going to work, man. You got to pay. You got to fucking pay. Well, I'll pay. Really? You know what they say about lottery winners? They're all miserable within 5 years. Yeah. Welcome to that, buddy.
Damn. Well, since it looked like a WWE event, because it totally did everything, you know, I think
the only one who's happy
had tweeted like, "Oh my God, it's Conor McGregor."
You know, the only one who's happy, like Johnny Boney Joni, sitting around going, "You want to get out of here? Got to go through me." Doesn't look so bad now, does it? Little coke and at least I wasn't cracking people's eyes out. So,
and one other guy is happy, Nate. You're Brock Lesnar. Are you really coming back to the UFC? And if so, why?
Money, money, money. Brock Lesnar's always been motivated by money. And I think that it gnaws at him.
The $1 Million Man's theme. Money, money, money.
And I think that it nags at him that he went out like such a punk in his MMA career. I really think he's a very proud athlete, and I think he's replaying that tape and wanting to fix it. I could be wrong about that. It's definitely about the money, and it's also boredom. I think dude just loves to play Dana White and Vince McMahon off against each other, and this is Dana's turn. Now, the problem is, last time Brock was in the UFC, he got washed out pretty hard. I mean, there was a whole fiasco laying on top of Mark Hunt. So the time before that, I mean, you know, he takes too many of the kinds of beatings that he took against Carwin, although he survived and won the fight, against Cain Velasquez, against Alistair Overeem. And at some point, nobody's going to watch him fight. I mean, at a certain point, you become Bob Sapp. So I think he's flirting with that. But I also think the UFC is very desperate. And Brock has been... You know, Brock's the girl in their address book that's like, man, it's late and I'm lonely and I need somebody. Hey, Brock, I'll call Brock and throw some money at him. And here he comes, you know, to rescue their business plan for the quarter of the year. I don't think they can keep going back to the well very often, but I do think they've got one more ring in that washcloth and they'll get a little bit more.
Especially with McNuggets Mania.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That price tag went up.
I tend to I want to disagree with you a little bit there. I think it's
not
more,
allowed.
Yeah, I think it's more the Mayweather thing than it is the proud athlete thing. I mean, I think you guys underestimate the kind of the adrenaline buzz that comes from being that kind of guy. And then what? Go back go back to your Canadian ranch, and how long is that shit gonna last? And especially I gotta tell you, these guys have kids. Those of you who don't have kids in high school, you wait. You get your kids into their high school years and their high school lives, you'll be bumping around your house trying to figure what the fuck to do with yourself, I mean, it's like, oh, there's a parent-teacher event at school. Okay, because then you're like involved again. You got something but otherwise you're sitting there at the kitchen table alone, man. Your kids are off Friday night doing stuff with their friends and having sleepovers at beach parties. So this guy is going to have to TV this and TV that and movie this and movie that and autograph this and autograph that. He's going to fucking go back to the ranch. Come on, man. He's like, yeah, he doesn't want to end up like Bob Sapp, but look, Kongo fought a whole shitload of fights that were very carefully chosen. And I'm being gracious. You can, I mean, part of it, like Emmitt Smith, it's not so much what he did on the field, it's that he managed to do it as long as he did it on the field. That's the real magic, is doing that job and not getting hurt. There's some fighters that you know who they are, and you look at who they fought, and it was a pretty clever luck of the draw. They got like really good cards, So there was a nice dynamic built into their career, and from beginning to end, you was like, man, that's really fucking satisfying. That was a satisfying climb to the top, and then a rule, and then a nice retirement thing. Not too many get the nice retirement portion, but some people have much better runs. Carefully chosen people that they could almost kind of get beaten by, but always beat. And
so who are these people that he's going to fight for the comeback then? Line them up.
But he's got to
line up who's going to be his farewell tour guys.
Francis Ngannou is going to kill him. Okay, Derrick the Black Beast Lewis, that might be a fight that he could hang with, because Derrick's got apparently no ground skills, but those little choppy elbows are not going to take Derrick out, and of course there's a danger of being fucking punched the fuck out.
Right.
So then who's left? Maybe an undersized heavyweight like a Frank Mir, who he got the second time around.
He's in Bellator.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not. I was in Bellator, but I'm trying to think of somebody who's like that.
DC, like maybe Daniel Cormier, it'd be a wrestling clinic.
That would be exciting, but DC would beat the pants off him. So
they got to go straight to the champ. They got to go Stipe, give him a fight, establish Stipe as a name, because there's nobody here in the top 15 there's nobody here that Brock has a good chance of beating, and there's no money fights for him there. I mean, I'm sorry, Derrick Lewis, but you're not a money fight for Brock Lesnar. You're building
and he knows that. He knows.
Yeah, and he also knows that. I mean, Brock could probably take him down and hold him down and win a fight. I mean, he did it to Mark Hunt not that long ago, and I think he could do the same thing to Ngannou. I think Derrick Lewis is more well-rounded than Ngannou, but still, the chance of Ngannou taking his head off, and we know what Brock does not like. Brock does not like being hit in the face real hard.
We saw the fear in his face when he was fighting Overeem, and that was just Overeem. And as you've seen the film with Overeem and Ngannou, he's not going into that cage not scared to death. He's scared to death going to that cage.
Yeah. So Stipe, I think, is the best bet because he's smaller. Yep. He will fuck Brock up.
I just said that.
I'm saying it again, heavyweight. Eugene,
would be okay if you say it.
You forgot
Nate McTame. You said the name, you say it again.
Eugene's line is, Nate was right.
No, I would not have said anything. I would not have said anything, but right before you said, no. And then you said just what I said. That's a classic boss maneuver. Oh, you're wrong. And then you just say what I said. Okay.
At least you're not calling me racist for interrupting you. Somebody here.
That was last week.
Well, now somebody's calling you a racist. Which,
me? A racist?
I mean,
Hey, all the racists I know say I shouldn't be ashamed of being a racist. They say you should embrace racism. That's what Steve Bannon said.
Steve Bannon. What a class act. What a class act. I mean,
it's undersized dudes. Yeah, I think that's the safe. Go if Boney Joni's around, do that one. If not, Stipe, maybe DC. For me, it's like DC the Mauler. Like, just have a whole welcoming party for guys who want to go to the heavyweight class.
I mean, before McNugget shit on this card, again, to dispute here. Here's a little tote sheet from the other day. A horizontal line indicates a horizontal line under the names indicates a don't care, and you can see I only didn't care about one fight. So so much for Nate's memory of the events. So
there's not even enough fights on there for that to be true, Eugene. Counting.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I cared about 11 fights on that card. 11.
That's. But there was one on the main event you didn't care about, and
which one was that? Neither one of us cared about that one.
Do you care?
Did, but
Man, don't let that show infect this show, man.
Oh yeah, that's true.
People can always see it.
Yeah, Nate and I can argue about this.
No, people
put your dental dams on,
losing
ladies.
viewers. Like I already saw that fucking show.
But okay, but the reality of it is, Brock is a save. GSP is a save. Both of the Diaz. I mean, if we're sitting around with Sean Shelby,
didn't care about. Sorry.
We're sitting around with Sean Shelby, also known as Keith, and we're sitting around trying. We have certain things that could save it. Not enough so that they're going to get this $300 million for the TV rights that they think they're going to get. But Lesnar's a possible save. I hate to say it. Don't even say I said it. But CM Punk is a possible save.
No, I agree.
I'll get some money out of CM.
The Diaz's are a possible save. GSP is a possible save. Johnny Boney Joni is a possible save. DC, if he plays it right, could be a save. But that's pretty much it. And I think
it opens it up though. That's the positive.
And I think McNuggets is on ice for the rest of the year.
Yeah. So. Well, some guy who was on ice as well, Eugene. You're Canelo Álvarez. How do you manage your fight future in the wake of your suspension?
You gotta understand. I mean, let's step back a bit. Everybody's huffing the gas pipe about boxing. Boxing's taking over. Boxing. The boxing. Boxing still delivers. Anthony Joshua. The Baldwin was talking about giving him $500 million, and that slack ass fight he just fought put people right back to remember why they started wandering away from boxing to begin with. It's like how nostalgia used to work before Facebook. Oh, that girl is great. This girl is great. She's so great. She's great. And you know, go out on one date. I just got to meet her for one drink. And then you realize, man, 5 minutes in, this sucks. And so, but the reality of it is the amount of money that Canelo has made, I mean, that's the thing. When you get to be a name like these guys, what the fuck? What do you care about a suspension? I mean, assuming you don't fall down that Mayweather flight of stairs where you sit at home and go, oh, the fuck am I going to do now? Assuming you got other stuff in your life, like you like stamps, you like Star Trek movies, you like hanging out fishing with your kids. What the fuck do you care about?
I like all those things.
Exactly. What do you care? What would you possibly care? You know what? Are these guys going to age out? These are relatively young guys. You go hang out 6 months. It's like imagine if they drug tested you at your job, found some shit in your system and said, Eugene, Alexei, Nate, you can't go to work for this next 6 months. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, see you 6 months from now. Fuck that. I don't think he's got a thing to worry about.
What about you, Nate? Do you love stamps?
Do
you like fishing with your kids?
To me, the question is less about Canelo Álvarez than it is about the Nevada Athletic Commission. Like, what the fuck are they thinking? If he was an Olympic athlete and he registered what he did for clenbuterol, they wouldn't even flag him because it was a trace amount that's probably there's a good chance it's from eating tainted food, which is his story, and it goes with the evidence. So it doesn't matter about his back knee or whatever conspiracy theory you have. The evidence doesn't add up to, let's take the biggest fight of the fucking year out back and shoot it for a not particularly good reason. Like, I mean, the folks on the commission, they remind me of kids I used to huff gas with. So that's all I'm saying. It's or watch huff gas because you see people who've been huffing gas for a while and you stop. You see the people, the brain trust there at the Nevada Athletic Commission. You're like, whatever they've been doing, I'm not doing that anymore. And here they are killing the fucking fight of the year. Canelo cares about this. This was a massive payday for him. He's probably only gonna have like 8 to 12 of these things in his career. This is a big deal. He only fights twice a year.
Yeah, but how long was he suspended for?
Not very long. But
so come on.
Still, it's a massive pain in the ass. There's only one Cinco de Mayo a year. There's a lot of fans who already booked their parties, who buying the pay-per-view, buy tickets, buying plane tickets, hotel reservations. Now it's all canceled. That costs
and worse than that, he has to delay the time in which he can have that nice Mexican meat again.
Exactly. He's got to wait,
man.
For his next.
He was all ready. He's like, okay, I'm gonna get the fight. I'm gonna go back and Now he's like, God damn. Abuela, sorry, I can't be eating that shit.
Canelo. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, I think that's to point like Nate is doing, pointing the finger at the commission. It's like, great, you guys did a knock up, bang up job. Great. So what's next?
The rematch ain't going to be booked in Nevada. I have a.
That's true.
No, I mean, what's next? Seriously, boxing wise, what's next? What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, this is a reminder between the Joshua fight and this shit show of why we left boxing in the first place.
So true.
You know, this is one thing. Got it all.
Which is also what I just said, but that's okay.
hey, I'm not. It says in my contract I'm not allowed to say I agree with Eugene. So I'm sorry.
So you just have to repeat what I said. I like that. I like that.
Nate, since you're fired up, embark on that heel turn.
Embark on the heel turn. Man, I mean, McGregor, I got to go with McGregor. I mean, God, dude, how do you fuck this up so bad? Like, it's not the way he pitched that dolly in the window, Eugene. It's not like a miss. There was no way he was missing from the angle he threw the thing. Like, he was going through that. And a dolly is going through a bus window. I'm sorry. Unless it's, reinforced prison glass that's actually the reinforced prison glass, not the kind that the warden's brother-in-law sold him, that doesn't actually stand up in a riot. That window is going down with a fucking hand truck pitched like a spear from a down angle. I mean, oh my God. It's not bad enough that we lose Ferguson to some random nonsense and lose the Khabib-Ferguson fight we've been waiting these many years for. And now the event 3 fights. I mean, if you go to the Wikipedia page, it looks ravaged. Yesterday, it was banging. And, dude, we lost a bunch of cares on the card.
Well, so who's out? Who's out?
Ray Borg is out. Artem Lobov is out. And Michael Chiesa is out. That means Anthony Pettis is also out. I can't remember who Borg was going to fight. And Lobov was going to fight some other dude. Brandon Moreno was going to fight Ray Borg. And Chiesa was going to fight Anthony Pettis. And Alex Caceres. So we lose Bruce Leroy. Man. I mean, it's like, and Ray Borg's rolling off a title shot. Lose that fight. If we lose the co-main event with Rose, that really guts the card.
So, okay, was she hurt or is she just shaken?
We don't know. At this point, nobody has said she was hurt.
She almost broke her hand. And so when you said that, I thought well, was it sprained now, or is it is it a situation where if it hit her hand, it would have broken it?
I don't know. Right now, I'm counting 8 people that will be suing McNuggets.
I doubt Lobov sues him as teammate.
Oh yeah,
There's some fans that had the pay-per-view fucked up.
Yeah.
Fans, you can be a part of this magic too.
Lots of people have every right to be pissed, and this is just the kind of shit that makes you embarrassed to be involved with this sport. I'm sorry. It's like you gotta know.
Okay, wait. Okay, so did you watch that Strikeforce thing with Gus Johnson on CBS? The last
these
MMA
things happen in MMA. Of course, I watched it.
Okay,
and I shed bitter tears because I knew that was the end of Strikeforce on CBS, and it was.
Okay, did you feel bad about that?
Yeah, I felt bad about it. It was a massive wasted opportunity. They could have had Fedor fighting on CBS, and they blew it. So,
well, I was there and I was pretty happy about it, but I guess I got fucked up priorities.
Yeah, me too. When I see all this stuff, it's like the best thing ever.
Then all the memes with Gus with lipstick and eyeliner on afterward.
I mean, that was funny and that was a hoot and everything, but in the big picture, we lost more than we gained there.
Well, CBS was. We talked about it. CBS was poorly suited to be there anyway. It's the most staid network of all the 3 majors. What the fuck? 4 majors at this point.
It still posted better numbers than Fox did. I mean,
So on a scale, where does this compare to the Strikeforce CBS debacle?
It could be worse. If it costs us more than a year of McGregor, it will be worse because we need it more. I mean, even at its best, Strikeforce was was a side dish.
Was assuming he's going to come back in the first place. I mean, you talk about some self-sabotagey shit. I mean, one of the values of what he did was nobody's remembering the fact that he lost the fucking Floyd Mayweather. All right, so had he not gone so crazy with picking up the dolly and hurtling it at the window, he would have been fine.
Yeah, as long as he didn't commit a felony.
But the fact he didn't, and it's just hyping up. It's either a situation where is it naturally or chemically assisted. But again, I think that the self-sabotage aspect of it cannot be overlooked. The motherfucker doesn't want to fight, man.
Well, and also you're in a position. Once you get legal involved, you're now in a position where somebody could force a drug test. And that's nothing that any grown adult wants.
Most I don't care. Adults.
Most that I know. Most that I know. I can stand through any drug test.
Well, speaking about being lost in the drip drops of urine. Who's drowning?
Well, in the Lost Battalion.
Lost Battalion.
Listen. Somebody texted me and they said, "Okay, you said before that McNuggets wasn't the Lost Battalion. Given the events of today, is he in the Lost Battalion?" And I'm gonna have to say, in a very interesting way, yes. For non-fight reasons. If you take somebody, I mean, for the same reason that fucking lottery winners fuck up their lives. The same reason that rich people don't like to give poor people money, because what they say is pretty consistently correct. They wouldn't know how to handle it. The fact that he believes he can handle it is he's been huffing his own fumes or something, right? So this idea that I've got this buffer against reality called $135 million and you'll do fucking nothing. Yeah, you know what? You're about to learn what it's like. What is that great line from the Public Enemy line that I always massacre? The bigger the black, the more they want to taste of that booty. You got to understand that once you cross that line, public perception line, and this is one thing I was really disappointed with Johnny Boney Joni for not knowing. Once you cross that line and become a problem, you become a Francis Farmer, you become a Billie Holiday, you cross that Q rating line to somebody that's commonly accepted and viewed as a problem. They don't let go, man. They don't. The teeth don't disengage from that ass for anything. And the people will start goading you in the same way. The guys who sell coke will start to hang out. They'll start to give you coke for free. They'll start to, you will have enablers for all kinds of bad behavior until you crash that fucking car. I mean, Kurt Cobain. Keep in mind, Bleach. In my mind, their record before they hit it big was at least as good as anything else, but nobody gave a fuck about them. And as soon as they start making a little money, the enablers come out and they fleece that fuck until he had nothing left but a shotgun. Come on.
Which so they gave him.
We all know really what happened. I'm gonna go with Il Duce on this one, but and what Steve Albini suggests, but whatever. So the reality of it is that he is in Lost Battalion. Not because of anything that happened in the cage, outside the fact that he hasn't fought for damn near 2 years, but he's in the Lost Battalion because he thinks that fucking money is going to protect him. And look, these animal phenotypes, man. He's fundamentally a jumped up poor guy, and you're not going to be allowed to keep that fucking money. You think you are? You have to be preternaturally smart to keep your money. And what bad boys move in silence and violence, and pretty much no. Let the press talk about that money. Don't be standing on. You can stand on Rolls Royces when you don't have the money. After that, can't do that shit. Can't be driving around in custom-made Ferraris and Lamborghinis. The hip-hop guys that you're patterning your act after, they're broke. Okay, yep. The R&B guys that they patterned are dead. The hip-hop guys who are patterned after the R&B guys, they're dead. Elvis, he's dead. Okay, he didn't die broke. But can't say. What about Del Shannon? Can't say the same for half those guys. I mean, the reality of it is the system is the house always wins. The house always wins. So he's my number one pick for the Lost Battalion. He picked a clever way. Like, you can join the French Foreign Legion if you want to be a military. I could do it now. I can't go to the U.S. military won't take a 55-year-old man. French Foreign Legion will. He Foreign Legioned his way straight into the fucking Lost Battalion.
Damn. Thanks for joining us. Follow us on Twitter, Eugene S. Robinson, Lexi Yoda, Kid Nate, Facebook MMA Pancholes.
Yes!
Please give us a thumbs up, Eugene.
Oh, it's a thumbs up, buddy. There you go. Right
And
down
leave
below.
comments on YouTube. Subscribe to MMANation.com on YouTube, MMA Nation on iTunes. Visit Bloody Elbow. Buy Seven Secret Source Inspiration. Buy Oxbow's Sitting Back Duke, where we'll find music and soul. Listen to the Let It Roll podcast. And immediately following the show, be sure to check out If the Shoes Fit. Eugene, how do they do that?
The link is right below. We're going to log out. We're going to log back in probably about 120 seconds.
And
so
note that I fucked up the link, but I'm fixing it right now. So.
He's fixing it now. So I'll take this opportunity to say, listen, we do accounting for Thin Black Duke on the year of its release, May 4th. So if you haven't bought it yet, buy. Now's the time to make the numbers look good. You can get iTunes, you get Spotify, you get SoundCloud, you can get Tidal, you can get Amazon, you can get it anywhere you want. So Thin Black Duke.
So what do you think the chances are, guys, though, of Hello Dolly or Dolly My Baby being used in a song related to Conor McGregor?
My ragtime doll, that one?
No, Dolly My Baby, the Supercat song, Dolly My Baby. See through it? Hello, Dolly. All right, we'll be back next week. You're
talking to old guys, man. I'm thinking Carol Channing. What the fuck are you talking?
My shit's old too. My reference is like fucking 20 years old, man.
Okay, all right, there you go.
And we don't know what we can talk about yet because the pure mistakes have yet to be made.
Ding dong.